Are you having trouble focusing? In today's always-on, information overload world, it can be hard to stay focused throughout the day. It happens to the best of us. Just ask yourself, how often do you find yourself distracted by inner thoughts during meetings? Or how often do you find that emails are pulling you away from the more important work you have on your to-do list? Your focus is very dependent on many physical and mental factors. The most obvious is sleep. If you don't get enough sleep, your focus suffers. Exercise and diet also impact your ability to stay focused. Negative emotions generally decrease it, so if you're feeling overwhelmed, scattered, or frustrated, it becomes hard to focus. Positive emotions, however, generally enhance and open your focus. So if you can learn to gain a clear understanding of your real priorities, zero in on the critical things that matter most, identify what you need to stop doing and reduce distractions, you can successfully increase your focus, improve your productivity, create more free time for yourself, and produce great results. Perhaps you've heard of the jar of life, rocks, pebbles, and sand story. A philosophy professor once stood before his class with a large empty jar. He filled the jar with large rocks and asked his students if the jar was full. The students said yes, the jar was full. He then added small pebbles to the jar and asked again, is the jar full now? The students agreed that the jar was indeed full. The professor then poured sand into the jar and he asked again. The students then agreed that the jar was finally full. The professor went on to explain that the jar signifies one's life. The rocks are equivalent to the most important things in your life, so if the pebbles and the sand were lost, the jar would still be full and your life would still have meaning. The pebbles represent the other things that matter. These things often come and go and are not permanent or essential to your overall life. Finally, the sand represents the remaining small things and material possessions in your life. These things don't really matter too much, and they're likely small tasks or simply time wasters. The metaphor here is that if you start with putting sand into the jar, you will not have room for rocks or pebbles. This holds true for the things you let into your business and your life. If you spend all your time on the small and insignificant things, you will run out of room for the things that are important. So to be effective and take control of your focus, you should prioritize important things, your big rocks, and then worry about the pebbles and sand later. What are the important big rocks in your life? The most important relationships, your top business priorities, the things you do to maintain good health, the things that get you ahead and give your life the most meaning. What about your pebbles? Pebbles are the things that consume your time that matter, but aren't the most critical. These can include secondary business priorities, side projects, hobbies, and friendships. And your sand? Sand are your time wasters, the things that rob you of your time, the things that are filling your hours that are not considered critical. This could be mindlessly streaming shows, scrolling on social media, checking for sports updates, and getting distracted by emails. These are the things you do to justify procrastinating doing the important big rock tasks. So take the time to write down your rocks, pebbles, and sand. Prioritize them and even eliminate some activities. This will help remind you of what is essential. Doing this will allow you to create more free time for yourself, increase your output, regain control of where you spend your precious time, and give you more energy. Get focused.